Okay, I'll move over.
You can sit in the middle, big fella.
That's alright, guys. You guys get on the podcast. I've got shit since I came in.
No, we want you in. No, come in. We're trying to convince the Cooney Tunes himself to come and sit on the old couch. Come on, big fella. Come say g'day.
I'm feeling a bit gassy, boys.
Come say g'day.
No.
Oh, Taekwondo fell over. Don't you? You came to fart, didn't you,
I
mug?
sat down.
You're a dad buck. You're a dad buck.
Fucking stinks.
Have a sniff. Have a sniff. Have a sniff.
And this sound recording studio holds it all in. Dad buck. Oh, man. This will be controversial.
Was it too obvious how I sat down?
Yes!
I was like this. Isn't that how people sit down? Old people.
You're not,
Old people. How old people sit down.
you're not Serena Williams. You don't have to like position your booty before you make that final adjustment.
Just gonna make sure I'm going on just safe ground. It's like testing the water before you dive in.
And then you get like back you get back
Dipping your toe in the pool.
No, testing the depth, you know, so you don't break your neck.
Anyway, welcome to our first official podcast in the new studio
Have a look around, guys.
Thank you for the
With,
gracious introduction, Jason.
with Brett himself providing the great scent.
So text in if that's how you sit down.
we want to know. We want to know how you sit down.
Anyway,
So if we're gonna be cruising
together.
yeah, that's a great song.
Is that Gwyneth Paltrow and who else?
Yeah, Huey Lewis.
How do you just know that off the top of your... You're definitely gay.
No, I know fucking music. Hello.
Cruising, one of the worst...
No, Gwyneth Paltrow and what's that? Counting Crows did a version, didn't they? Cruising is made for love. No, Robert Williams.
Oh, just doing a quick little self-promotion, are we? Album out soon. Just doing a quick cover of Cooney Tunes, quick cover. Why not? Anyone? Hashtag why not?
So we should probably like introduce ourselves and
Go from the right.
and go.
Who's talking now? Who are you?
I'm on the right, and on the right is Logan.
It's a weird way to introduce yourself. Man.
Yes.
Oh, Logie Bear.
Yeah,
Let's
Logie
be
Bear.
comfortable with our listeners.
Yeah. Okay.
Logie Bear. Not Logan.
So I'm of course the oldest of the group.
Of course.
Yes. And us three have been friends since primary school.
And we just thought we're really funny, so we should just start recording this shit
Yeah.
because it's hilarious.
Yeah. So we had this podcast idea for a while. Well, Jason has.
I think we've all had it at some stage for a while.
Yeah, and we did, just like all of those kind of cool conversations that you have, like that just go in depth into things, and
It's just funny.
yeah,
and, like,
you
could
just
be-
get
not always funny, to be honest.
Why
But
don't we just take mushrooms and do this?
Yeah, it's a good idea.
Well, some real in-depth conversations.
Yeah, let's have some mushroom tea.
but anyway, yeah, what were you saying?
Yeah, so that's kind of the short take of it.
So, Brett set the studio for his sort of music side of things, and then we sort of came up with the idea of maybe incorporating a little podcast chair, some stands and mics. So we've finally set it all up and decided to go recording and give it a go. But now we just can't stop looking at the studio because it's like looking really sexy.
It's pretty sexy. Saying this camera's just stuck still on us. And you guys can't see what's looking good. Sorry if my...
Well, I mean,
we can
I mean, obviously
edit
behind us is a bit of a taste of what is around the rest of the room.
What we'll do is we'll edit some images into the podcast.
We'll stick them on the Instagram.
We may not. Don't expect it. We may not. Depends how active we feel at the time. So what? We've all known each other since primary school.
Yeah.
You're the gay one of the group. Token gay.
Oh yeah, thanks.
I'm the token. Am I the token black?
Yeah, you would be. I reckon.
Cocoa brown. Let's not go black.
Yeah, okay.
And then Coon's the
token.
Oh, is he a
What?
token?
I'll tell you what, mate. You could be the token gay guy of those thongs I've just seen.
The camera is strategically not placed at our feet. I'm going for comfort.
And, I'm just the token awesome person.
True.
Here we got housemate Jess.
Hey Jess, this is who was calling me before, and we had to bleep the pin number out of the video.
Did you? Here you go.
Oh, thank you.
I shall
Jess is our housemate. She's a classic.
transfer. Oh, is it recording?
It's raining fitties.
Random 10.
Dollar bill, yo. On the exit, so we appreciate that, big fella. Now get the fuck out of here!
Man, enough with the bacon and eggs.
Oh man, you stink. You legit actually stink. Fuck, that actually stinks. Anyway, we're back.
Yeah, we're back.
All right, so Brett will get. So with this podcast, we're probably just going to cover whatever topics come to us. It could be about current events. It could be about
What's going on in our lives?
a bit about our upbringing, our history. I'm sort of into like classic cars and stuff, so I might incorporate a little bit of that with maybe another guest because I know you probably don't really want to chat about that, but
Well, not classic cars.
but yeah, to be honest, like there's no one genre that we're sticking to. We're just
Subject matter.
our vision is come in, sit on the couch, chilled, and just talk. Whatever comes. Whether it's funny, whether it's deep, whatever it is.
Yeah,
Why not just do a podcast about talking?
And
If people connect, they connect.
Yeah,
If-
and kind of every conversation and topic that we do, that there's going to be a level of passion, and that's what just makes for a great podcast.
I've previous to sort of setting this up, I've watched a few podcasts. I know you mentioned you've watched a few on different
Yeah,
subjects. So
yeah.
we all sort of have a bit of life experience and just everything, and we sort of all have our own field,
Yeah, but
So-
it's good to kind of get other people's opinions and
And I feel these days there's just not enough no mobile phone. Just sit down, have a
Yeah.
constructed chat,
Yeah.
just about whether it's about shit, whether it's
Yeah.
about.
I mean, look, you can go on Facebook and see, your friends rant about particular subjects when something happens, and obviously with the flow of Facebook and stuff like that, people just kind of get annoyed and just, but I think in this kind of format, it's quite constructive, because you can not only get your point across, but you can see it from another person's point of view.
And that's right. It doesn't mean we always have to agree.
Yeah.
But we can agree to disagree. But the end result is we're showing both points and
Yeah.
whatever that subject may
Um,
be. Wait, sorry, poor Taquanda.
Oh,
She wants to be in on it, but she
yeah,
keeps
I
us.
know.
Her head's too big. She just keeps falling over. But yeah, so that's sort of a quick background. Like me and Logan went to primary school together.
Yep.
Shout out to old James Cook. Old James Cook, represent.
Which is actually still around.
Yeah, represent.
Amazingly.
You get old when your high school gets demolished.
Yeah, I know.
Why'd they demolish it? It's not even in the way of anything.
Yeah, but I think a bit of history on that was when it was kind of shut down. There were a lot of squatters and stuff there.
Oh, okay. Oh, with that hall.
Yeah, and they're
The
obviously
famous sports
Oh
hall.
my God, I know.
When our school's hall, sports hall, was first built, we were not allowed to wear shoes in it Now it's a wooden sports hall, like a basketball court
Yeah.
thing. We weren't allowed to wear shoes. That's how special it was.
Yeah.
So I don't know whether our school was just like povo, or whether like it was just, I don't know, like a normal thing to do. But I found that odd.
Yeah, I don't know. I think we're all kind of like, oh, this is fucking bullshit.
Yeah. So me and Logan have known each other since primary school. We sort of always kept in contact.
Yeah.
At some points in our lives, we've sort of maybe drifted a little bit because we've both had different things going on. But
yeah.
in the end, we've always sort of kept contact off and on. And whenever we talk again, it's just like nothing's happened. But yeah, sort of probably the last 2 years, we've sort of been a bit kept contact a bit more and hang out a bit more. So or off and on throughout the years.
Look,
but
yeah, I'd say more than 2.
yeah. But I mean, like recently again, because oh no, we still sort of hung out. Yeah, no, we still hung out in between my relationships and stuff like that. So yeah, no, I wouldn't say that. But yeah, Logan's, if you haven't picked up already, Logan's obviously gay, and I'm straight in a relationship. What else can we sort of tell them about ourselves?
Yeah, so I'm kind of like the I don't know if I kind of classify myself as label myself as like geeky or a nerd, but
Yeah, you really, to be honest, you really don't fit any stereotype. Because like you're gay, but if people didn't know you were gay,
yeah,
I don't think they'd pick up straight away that you were gay.
yeah, but I mean, like, yeah,
I don't go
mean,
see you doing like
yeah, but I kind of
hula hoop work down Main
Yeah.
Street, you know.
Yeah, I know. It's quite funny. Yeah,
And you don't like clubbing?
I've always been like
You won't get
what
Logan
they
out.
call straight acting
Yeah.
or non-scene.
You definitely won't get Logan to a nightclub, and this is a gay guy that doesn't want to go to a nightclub, so he's definitely not a stereotype.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, I had a very normal kind of upbringing.
Yeah. Would you, like, we've sort of both discussed it privately, but would you class your upbringing as normal? Because, like, I say my upbringing was normal, but there's a lot attached to our normal upbringing, I'd say.
Yeah, I suppose that kind of then goes into the whole, like philosophy of like, there is no such thing as normal these days. But look, I mean,
we're sort of
I mean, both of us had a pretty stable kind of home environment.
yeah, that's probably a better way of doing it. We had a stable home environment, but me and Logan are probably going to do a couple podcasts in the future on our actual upbringing, just to give you some background, but not just background, but maybe just just give other people insight that your upbringing out there, you might not think it's normal, but it might be more normal than you think, or certain situations you might be able to connect sort of with us. And
Yeah.
I don't know, so we thought, why not use this sort of medium just to talk about shit, but also
Yeah.
talk about what's happened in our lives and whether we can connect with people that's
Yeah.
the same.
So so I mean I kind of grew up to be quite I suppose from a very early age I was quite kind of introverted and quiet, very kind of if you want to use the terms geeky, nerdy, not I wouldn't say not. I'd say not into sport.
Yeah.
Not really into that kind of thing.
Yep.
Although that's a very stereotypical thing
Yep.
of being gay.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah. So yeah, and I kind of fell in love with computers and the such from a very, very early age.
Monster truck madness.
Yeah. Grave digger.
I remember I used to run to the library
Yeah, I know.
when class was on just to try and get the Monster truck madness. Was it floppy disk?
No, it was
Or
CD. CD.
They had one CD, and if you got that Monster truck madness, you were the king of that class, and everyone hated you. Was jealous as.
Yeah.
But
So
yeah.
so I've been in IT for let's just say too long.
You can see the passion still there.
Um,
It's still radiant from his glowing.
um, um, so yeah, yeah. I mean, as Jason said before, obviously there have been quite a few times where we've kind of, been a bit disconnected and gone off and done our own things, and um, kind of had to get our shit together.
Yeah, as you'd
But
call it. Get our shit together.
yeah,
Who hasn't had to get that shit together at some point in their life?
yeah,
But getting your shit together doesn't always mean. Sorry, I'm taking another subject, but getting your shit together doesn't always mean like when someone says get your shit together, it's like, oh shit, I better buy a house.
yeah,
I better start a family. Getting your shit together might be just mean like in my case, being in an unhappy relationship.
yeah. But
Um,
also, I think
mean
that
anything.
phrase can not only be. I think it can be very subjective. I think it can be not only for for what traditionally is associated with the bigger picture in life and the bigger goals that you want to do in life. It's also about the kind of everyday kind of life and the small stuff.
such as getting to work on time,
Yeah, getting to work on time. Um,
having a reliable vehicle,
yeah,
paying bills on time.
yeah.
Like obviously, that's just a select few, but
Yeah. You get distracted at work, or you go off on a little tangent, and you go, shit, I got to get my shit together. Let's get back on track. And yeah,
so we should probably add, we're both in our early 30s, so
yeah, early 30s.
we're not young, but we're not old either,
Yeah, we're kind of in that middle ground.
which I feel was the perfect time to sort of start this podcasting sort of setup, because we've got a little bit of wisdom, a little bit of life experience, that
Yeah.
if we did this, not that I was around when we were sort of 18, 19, but if we did that then, it'd probably be a lot different podcast.
Oh yeah, it sure would.
But I don't want everyone to think that this podcast is only about our life experiences. We're going to cover a whole bunch of subjects, like I stated before, whether it's about vehicles, like automotive, whether it's food, whether it's sort of IT,
Yeah.
whether it's just general talking shit, having fun on the couch.
Yeah, just if anything in the news or anything that's current.
So we've got this couch, beautiful vintage couch set up, so
Yep.
it can fit 3 people. So obviously, we're going to plan on having some guests here and there, and just having, some podcasts will probably get deep, some will just be a great old laugh.
Yeah.
Hopefully. Hopefully you find that stuff funny like we do, but I'm
Yeah.
sure that will I'm sure that will be fine. But where were we? Sorry, I went off topic.
Yeah. So yeah, talking about getting your shit together. We've all obviously, being in our early 30s, we've had a little bit of life experience, and have managed to crawl ourselves outside the other end, and that's what obviously builds some wisdom and character. So yeah, I mean,
Also, your upbringing builds wisdom and character as well, not just life experience. I probably want to add that if you're raised in a loving, not so much always a loving family, but if you're raised in with good morals and stuff, you sort of
yeah, I mean that's definitely an important thing.
So I feel me and Logan were raised in pretty
similar,
semi-stable household, I
yeah.
guess. But regardless of how stable it was or the situation, I can probably safely say we're both raised with morals.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Yeah.
well, I think we'll cover all that, our upbringing and stuff like that, because I think it's pretty interesting. Some of the things we've sort of been through.
Yeah.
We'll cover that in a few later podcasts. Otherwise, it'll only be 1 6-hour podcast. We'll have nothing else.
Yeah, I know.
But yeah, so that's pretty much a bit about us. Yeah, so now we've, our other mate set up this studio
Yeah, it's actually
to pursue his sort of producing music career, and then I live in this house as well, and came up with the idea of maybe incorporating just a couch with a podcast setup, just so it could be 10 in the morning, 1 at night, or whatever. But whenever someone feels like, or whenever I feel like, or whatever,
Yeah.
we can just jump in and just do a quick hour, and then just get it to you guys.
Yeah.
Hopefully, you guys, if you do like it, obviously it's our first episode. Listen to a couple, but if you do like it, show us some love.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
I don't want to be doing these podcasts and I got 1 view. It's pretty depressing. So if you like it, show us some love, and
We need that instant gratification.
yeah, even if you guys yourself, I'm going to open up to sort of the listeners as well, if they sort of
Yeah.
have had some interesting times
Yeah.
or experiences, or want to be a guest,
Yeah.
they can just DM us or something, and then we can schedule them on, and we can have a great old chat.
Yeah. So we'll
This podcast is for the people.
podcast for the people. No, we don't want to get into communism there.
Nah, let's skip that altogether.
So yeah, every couple of episodes we'll have a special guest.
Right at the moment, it's not set in stone. Right at the moment, I'm going to try and get like 2 a week out. I think it's a
Yeah.
good number. What do you think?
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Probably 2 a week's a good number.
Yeah, and then we'll just kind of see how that runs.
So I'm gonna try to do this podcast in with Logan. So we're doing it together. And then if we have a guest, obviously a guest will come in with us. And then on top of that, I'm gonna try and do some more filming, because I do a lot of work on my old 70s Mazdas.
Yep.
I'm gonna do some filming on that and try and just get some content out about that sort of stuff. But I suppose try and keep it separate. So I've got to have a long, hard think about what I'm going to do, because I don't really want to incorporate it with the podcast, because I don't want one channel incorporating everything. So,
But it's good to give your other podcast a bit of a plug.
but yeah, once it's all up there, there'll be some Mazda content, some old rotary stuff if anyone's into that, some RX-7 stuff. So should be pretty interesting. But yeah, so sort of a new venture for both of us, I think.
Yeah.
Just trying a bit of everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that covers that. What
So,
tangent should we go on next?
So what are your thoughts on the if you have any? What are your thoughts on the whole political landscape of the past couple of weeks?
Great.
Since well, that's been really dominating the news.
Yeah, no.
And such.
I think a lot of people will be able to connect with me when I say that I stopped watching commercial television and commercial radio for probably like many years now.
Yeah.
Even like obviously I have a job outside of this, which I'm on the road a lot in a work vehicle. I used to listen to commercial trashy TV. And actually what I've done now, which just allowed me to probably have clearer thoughts and achieve more things during the day, is I just actually turn the radio off completely. So I don't even listen to podcasts. I don't listen to anything. I just get my stuff done and sort of work within my own thoughts. But yeah, so sort of what I was saying is people could probably connect. I imagine there's a few people like that are sort of not really across commercial rubbish or into politics as closely as maybe the older generation are. I'm sure the younger generation are too, but sort of the older generation, they live or die by sort of politics and media, which is quite weird to me. But so my answer would be that obviously I think no matter what party we vote in to Parliament, or whoever runs it,
We both get screwed.
yeah, I just think Parliament itself and the whole government sort of organisation is just really old school
Yeah.
and a bit of a joke.
Yeah.
And I think no matter who we vote in, they're going to have pros and cons.
Yeah.
So I think they're just as bad as each other.
Mm.
You know, like
I
There's-
mean,
there's a lot of memes going around that bag Labor, but then obviously those memes are biased,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
you know, Labor are sort of, you know, there's a lot of memes that bag Liberal, you know, and the Greens and all that sort of stuff. So, unfortunately, we need a government by law, but it's not going to happen. But I think the whole landscape of Parliament needs to be sort of updated or modernised a little bit to sort of suit a different generation and different way of thinking.
Yeah.
You know, because I'm going to say this, and this might be controversial, but as the years go on, I think naturally generations just get smarter. That's my view. You know, but then, you know, that's the case. But then Parliament's still set up from like, you know, old school, like olden days.
Well, it's
yeah.
it's the Westminster system.
Yeah, so I just think that's a bit rubbish. We've got smarter people, but then we got sort of politicians that are just
Yeah.
going hard, as in like just sort of, I don't know, just
Yeah.
being a bit of a joke in my eyes.
Yeah. Look, you know that I suppose in any industry, there's always going to be, you know, those few bad apples that kind of ruin it for the rest of us, and make a particular, you know, group or industry look bad. Um, but I suppose politics has always been like that, and that's really, I think, because of exactly it's the system. So
Going back to
and it's actually quite, as you said, outdated.
that's just my view. I just want to make that clear. Obviously,
Yeah.
people agree, disagree with me, but that's just my personal view.
Yeah, I mean, look, I've heard a lot of things that you know, these days our system is built on you vote for a particular party or person, um, you know, being independent. So
That was what I was going to get to next.
so you know, these days it's you're voting for the person, whereas I think a lot of um, um, I suppose progressive people, in their views, um, I think would want to be based on you actually, instead of voting for the person or the party or the image that they purvey, you actually vote by policy. And then whatever, you know, majority of a particular policy, if yes or no or A or B, um, you know, of an election, then whoever being um, the face of the government has to then carry that out. And that's what, again, I think goes back to, you know, the recent times where we've had, you know, plebiscites and that kind of thing, in order to get public opinion and in order to work out how people actually feel about, you know, the real issues out there.
Actually, while we're on topic, and you've brought that up, how did you feel about the whole sort of how long it took and the big play out of the gay marriage issue that we had?
Well, I mean, look, I mean,
'Cause I remember you quite passionate at the time,
yeah.
and in my eyes, we're living in 2018, people. So like,
Look,
why is it those sort of things even an issue?
yeah,
Anyone that has issue with that sort of stuff is just old school way of thinking,
Yeah,
or
exactly.
again controversial but religious.
Yeah,
and
but that's
should accept
but,
everything.
I mean, I suppose the whole history behind that and the whole infighting was the fact that our current government, being what's their name, Liberal and Nationals, the LNP.
Yep.
Obviously, you know, the more I think about it, the more kind of, you know, kind of like, you know, Twilight Zone that whole system is, because the LNP being half liberal and half Nationals, um, Liberals at the moment in Australia, they basically are a conservative party, right? Even though the actual term liberal is actually to be progressive.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
okay.
liberal is being, we give liberty to the people to
Yeah.
be free, to be equal, all of that. But in this country, it's completely the opposite of what that actual core word means.
Mm.
Um, and and that has a lot to do with the Nationals Party of the party coming together in the coalition, because basically all of the Nationals the um, are the mainly up in the north of the country in Queensland. You have all of the very, very, very conservative baby boomers up there that have quite strong views on those kind of things. That don't obviously necessarily, have the same majority view of the world as everybody else.
Mm.
And yeah, and obviously with the way that the government um, um, won back in 2013 and 2016, they only had a one seat majority
Mm.
to state governments. So look, Malcolm Turnbull had to basically, his job was to keep everyone happy in the group, and in order to actually get the whole gay marriage thing, um, he had to basically uh, concede to how the Nationals wanted it to be done, and
So
obviously,
who's in the Nationals?
so the Nationals are people like
Bob Catter?
big one, Bob Catter.
Yep.
Um,
Can I just some I remember I was telling you off air about this, but I was watching a YouTube video. It's probably the worst place to watch anything political because it's obviously all going to be biased. But I was watching a YouTube video interview
mm,
where he goes on a tangent about having too many immigrants,
yeah, yeah,
and we need to sort that out. And this is sort of what I want to say is don't take everyone's word for it. Like, we're all smart people. Just do some research and come up. Everyone's allowed to think what they want, but just do some research. Anyway, so I watched this interview and it said about immigrants and stuff like that. Like we should control them or whatever. I took 2 seconds and I googled Bob Catter's heritage because I was just intrigued.
yeah, yeah,
Because to me, watching him in this interview,
yeah,
he did not look Australian.
yeah.
He sounded Australian, but he didn't look Australian. So I was intrigued to see where his heritage was. So you've got this grown man, going on about immigration,
Yeah.
but then his grandfather was a Lebanese immigrant.
Yeah.
So it goes back to what I was saying before, that I feel, obviously they're just going to say what they think the majority of Australians are thinking, just to get, obviously, in the good books or get votes or whatever it may be, become popular. But don't just listen to these clowns, in my opinion. Take your own, make your own research.
Yeah.
So what I was saying, it took 2 seconds to find that out.
Yeah, I know. I think I do actually remember the particular interview that you're referring to.
Yep.
And
He walks around with a cowboy hat on, and he talks Aussie as, we need to do this.
Yeah, and
But then he has a Lebanese grandfather, immigrant.
and then you have the same hypocrisy of Mr. Beetroot Head. What's his name?
I don't like beetroot, regardless of. I just don't. Why has beetroot become the Aussie thing? You must have like Aussie
Yeah.
beetroot or shrimp. Who you put
Yeah.
shrimp on a barbie? If you're Australian, you put sausages. If you're a meat eater,
Yeah, but
Snags.
isn't that
why did
one
beetroot? Does beetroot even grow in Australia? Is it even an Australian product? Why
Yeah?
is that like beetroot? I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm asking.
beetroot head? I
Be-
can't remember his name,
Big Beatrice.
but he was the leader of the Nationals,
Mm.
and he had that.
You talking
whole-
Barnaby Joyce?
Yeah, Barnaby Joyce. That's right. Thank you.
Classic
Um,
Barnaby, the
cla-
classic barn
yeah.
dog.
Yeah. So.
Hey, the classic barn dog.
Yeah, I
just
know. So it's like.
doing some under table deals.
Yeah, I know. So it's like
How funny that a politician was doing some under table deals and then he had a kid
Yeah.
to someone else.
I know. So it's like like.
These
and
are the
it-
people we trust to
and-
make
and-
decisions
and,
for us.
and it's look, it's funny because, it really happens all the time in politics where, it's like Barnaby Joyce is part of the Nationals, and the Nationals are, the voice of the country, being the rural country voice apart from the cities, and it's a very conservative voice, with conservative opinions, and when you go kind of in that realm, it's all about family values, and it's all about marriage and children and everything like that. But then obviously if you have a leader of a political party that is supposed to be the person to voice the concerns of conservatives, being the family man, goes off and has an affair with another colleague and has a baby, it's like, hey, come on, and I mean, it kind of goes back to that hypocrisy of, there are so many times that you see, like in the US and stuff like that, where like all of these like conservative, politicians who are like, oh, anti-LGBT and like, everything like that, and then a couple of months later they get done for I don't know, having sex with another male co-worker, and it's like,
Doing a George
really?
Michael.
really, like they just completely just deceive the public, and
That goes back to my original comment that I think it's a bit outdated.
yeah, I know.
They
Um,
preach one thing
and then they do another.
and they do another, and it's all just bullshit to get people on their side.
Yep.
To all push their personal agenda, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So don't grill me for that. That's just my opinion. We're all allowed to have our own opinions.
yeah.
It's the joy of a podcast.
Yeah.
Anyway, should we change it up a bit?
Yeah.
Anyway, I just got back from Bali. Probably should add that.
Yeah. Yeah. So
I thought I would see what all the Aussie
hubbub
craze.
was about.
Yeah, all the Aussie craze for Bali.
Yeah.
Quite interesting.
Yeah.
I've never been to.
Did you have any kind of culture shock or?
I've travelled a little bit, but I've never been to Bali. The reason I've never been to Bali is probably due to when I used to listen to Western media. Like they drill like terrorism in you, and then you see like explosions at bars and this and that. So that I've probably just always had this fear that I would never feel safe in Bali, to be honest, and Thailand for that matter. But me and my partner, we sort of had a week spare, so we thought, you know what, the flights are sort of quite not a great distance.
Yeah.
It's sort of cheapish, so why not give it a go? So, to be honest, it wasn't my first choice, but I thought, no, we'll give it a go because it works within our schedule quite well. It was a tiny bit, like, I've been to sort of a third world before, but it was a tiny bit of culture shock in the fact that I didn't realise how much money was king over there. Like,
Yeah.
because obviously how do I say this without, obviously over here we have a proper education system.
Yeah.
You know, we go through primary school, go through high school, we get a job, you know, blah, blah, blah. They live in villages. All they would see is foreigners come in with nice shoes, nice clothes, happy to spend. And they obviously need it to survive, but they've also just been brainwashed, and that's the only thing.
Yeah.
You know, you look at some of these people, and you can see in their eyes that that's the only thing they're thinking
Yeah.
is how they can get your money.
Yeah.
Now over there, that I met a lot of beautiful people, beautiful country, or beautiful island. Really nice people, really nice culture. But yeah, there is that side of it where it's just money hungry, because obviously they want to survive. But so my point was, you know, like we walk out of our hotel, as soon as we get out of our hotel, we got people hassling us for if you want to rent a motorbike every 2 seconds. If we walk past any shops, hassling us to go into the shop to have a look. Excuse me. Yeah, just like real in your face. Like there was one instance that, you know, like I'm polite. I'm not rude because I respect their culture and I
Yeah,
respect
yeah.
I'm in their place.
Yeah.
So, you know, like they say hi, how you going? And I say hi back. But as soon as you say hi,
It's like
it's like they've got that connection, and
Yeah.
then they can like just try and hassle you. So, yeah, I respectfully sort of said, look, I'm right, mate. Thank you. You know, like I appreciate it, but I'm good. You know, and most of them after that got the sort of hint. You know, but there was a couple instances where I was nice and I said that and I wasn't
Yeah.
firm enough.
Yeah, yeah.
And I had you know, I'd had them follow me down the street, and I had to I felt bad, but I actually had to turn around and say, buddy, why are you following me?
Yeah.
You know, like I don't want anything.
Yeah,
Thank you, but I don't want anything.
Yeah.
And it sort of made me think that
So it
how do they think that is a great way to make money through their shops?
Yeah.
It sort of I thought to myself, if I had to spend half an hour with a couple of these people and just educated them on, you know, if you just sit there and say hello to people and once they go, you know, show interest in your shop, don't hound them. As soon as you hound, it turns people off straight away.
Yeah.
And then you're making less money for yourself.
Yeah.
So that was sort of a bit of it, but I went and done a few things. Went to Ubud. We stayed in like near Semiak. We travelled around a little bit. Because it was such a short trip, I was really worried about getting Bali belly, especially because I've never been. So I tried to eat at well, you know, good establishments and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because I also went over my birthday, so if I got sick, it would have ruined the whole trip. Luckily, I didn't, so it was quite good. But all in all, yeah, quite a nice place, to be honest.
Yeah.
I would go again, but there's a few places I want to see first. But I would go again.
Yeah.
Always heard about how Australians love the place.
Yeah.
But obviously, once you're over there, you realise that it's just full of Australians.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, obviously, it's like, you know, the first go-to destination for a lot of Australians.
Yeah, and I think that's just
who
because-
basically want a holiday, want to actually go overseas, obviously, and not obviously stay within the confines of Australia, and you know, kind of still feel like it's a holiday.
So I didn't bother going to Kuta at all. I just wanted to avoid Kuta altogether because obviously with my partner, so I just don't want to be hassled or just don't want to go through all the drunkenness or partiness of that side of things.
yeah.
So I avoided that. But yeah, all in all, you know, was quite a good trip. I did some filming for my cousin's cooking venture type app thing. Who's cooking food community. You can find him on Facebook. But I did some filming for that for him.
So tell me about that.
I we'll probably get him on. I reckon.
Yeah.
I reckon we'll get him on. I'll just touch on it, but I
Yeah.
reckon we'll get him on. So what is he's got his own sort of social media fellowship on a product called Who's Cooking Food Community. So originally started as an app idea.
Yeah.
I believe he's still developing that side of things, but it's turned more into sort of cooking workshops and sort of a cooking community where people can just post photos and, you know, like have a discussion and, you know, just sort of just join people up, I guess.
Yeah.
All to do with food and culture of food too, I should probably say. Different flavors of food.
Yeah.
End up doing a traditional Balinese cooking class.
Yeah.
So we started off going through traditional markets.
Yeah.
Had a few things explained to us, and then we went to a organic farm where they had workshops set up.
Yeah.
We sort of picked all the stuff, picked all the greenery and stuff, like straight from the earth.
Yeah.
And then spent a couple hours just going through some recipes with a couple instructors and filming it, which the footage is getting edited at the moment. So he's going to do something with that and promote it on the Who's Cooking side of things. So I'll let him do all that. And I will get him on because it's quite an interesting concept and what he's trying to do. So I think it'll be a good chat.
Yeah.
I did some filming for him. What else I do? I went motorbike riding in the countryside through the rice fields and stuff like that. I did that for my birthday. That was extremely fun. Met some local people. Did a few things. Went to all the sort of normal touristy things, waterfall.
Yeah.
Spent a lot of time in Ubud actually, because it's quite a beautiful place. The rice fields are amazing. Waterfalls. Went to the coffee plantation. Saw how that's sort of done and the animal that it comes out of, because it's the coffee plantation that the animal eats the coffee.
Yeah.
And then
I have actually heard of that one.
I forget what it's called, but I think it's Luwak or something.
But that's like the real expensive.
Yeah, quite expensive.
One.
So
Yeah.
we did a coffee taste there. And got to taste it. It was quite good actually in my eyes. All their arts and crafts, I think they call them handy cart or whatever, is pretty, like, they're pretty skilled people.
Yeah.
We saw some pretty cool things. Bought a few things back with me, but obviously I can't fit a life-size horse wooden craft thing, so I bought back what I could.
You definitely get called over. And
Had a few
customs for that.
massages. So most of the time when we wanted to do something, we just looked on a website for something with good reviews. Obviously, again, because we had short stay, we didn't, want to get ripped off or have a bad experience. So I sort of went a bit more touristy than I would have liked. 'Cause normally, when I first started going overseas, I was full touristy, and then sort of last couple of times I sort of explored a bit more, and you just get. It's so much richer.
Yeah.
It's just once you get amongst it, I feel like it's just a better time.
Yeah.
Not staying in resorts all the time and just getting amongst the culture a bit better. You get more out of it if that's what you're looking for. Not everyone's looking for that. But this time we sort of went touristy again and stayed in a resort.
Yeah.
Probably because it's sort of my first time there and short stay.
It's always kind of I suppose a safer option, especially if it's like your first time in that country.
I'm definitely go back there. Beautiful place. But I think next time we go back there, we'll stay in like a villa somewhere and explore a bit more.
Yeah.
They have beautiful, like the beaches are nice. The sunsets are gorgeous.
Yeah.
Like I said, all the people are nice. But yeah, did a few things. First couple of times I sort of hung around the resort and just lapped up the sun a bit.
Yeah.
So
it was obviously really nice weather over there.
Yeah, 90%. One day was rainy, but even when it's rainy, it's sort of warm still.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
obviously we went.
Because it's still in that kind of subtropical kind
Yeah.
of, you know.
We went during the time where a bunch of earthquakes in Lombok just happened, so I was a bit worried about that, to be honest. But all in all, yeah, not overpriced.
Yeah.
Had a good time. It was a good experience. So yeah, can't complain.
Yeah. Well, I haven't really done that much traveling. I haven't really, I suppose, caught the travel bug as much as you have. But yeah, I certainly you know, I'd love to go over to Europe and
Yeah, we've discussed this
um
before. I sort of remember you touching on a few places in Europe that you'd
yeah
like to visit.
and I think another one I'd love to go to would be Canada.
Yep.
Um, um, you know, not just based on the fact that it's obviously going to be a bit easier in terms of the you know, culture and language and stuff like that, but I think there are parts up in Canada, and especially, you know, when you get to kind of Alaska, there are some beautiful um, um, you know, sites over there. You know, like, you know, the Rocky Mountains and all of that. So
It depends. The location just depends what you want to get out of it. Every location you travel to has beautiful things, but it's
yeah,
subjective to what you think is beautiful.
well, exactly, yeah,
Yeah, like Times Square's beautiful.
yeah,
But
yeah,
but
exactly.
looking at some dirt in a mountain's beautiful
Yeah.
too.
So yeah. So one thing that you got over there was a new tattoo.
Yes.
So do you wanna tell us about that?
Yeah. So like I
So you've kind of I mean, you've previously got no tattoos.
no. So obviously previously we touched on that we're 31. For many years, probably since maybe I'm gonna say early to mid 20s. I've wanted to get inked up, as they call it.
Yeah.
Get tattoos. Now I'll be honest with you guys. I wanted to get tattoos that obviously means some that mean things to me.
Yeah.
Like personal things, but obviously some that I just have designed and just like in general. But one thing that's been holding me back is just the pain factor.
Yeah.
And that's me being honest. Because I've never had one before. I just didn't know whether I could go through the pain or not.
Yeah.
So when Claire and I were over there, that's my partner. When we were both over there, obviously I had my birthday over there, my 31st, and then I just thought, you know, I've wanted to do start my tattoo quest for many years, and I thought I'm turning 31 now. We're at a place that obviously could have some average places, but
Yeah.
also has some really nice skilled artists and quite clean and really good reviewed places, and is well priced. So while I was over there, I thought I'm turning 31. I'll just bite the bullet. Just deal. Some things you just got to deal as a man, and just
Yeah.
if it's something you want. So I thought I'll just go get one. So yeah, I got to say, because I eventually want to sort of get a few things on my left hand. I got quite a simple one that I can add to later depending on how I exactly design. So if anyone's listening and they haven't got a tattoo, they've been thinking about it. All I did was have a good night's sleep, have a good breakfast, and just bite the bullet and just get in there and do it. So I don't know if you guys can see that, but I got a really simple one.
Yeah.
Which is, I'll share something with some people that I probably haven't shared with many people. Even some in my circle might not know this, but obviously I'm half Mauritian. So my father's of Mauritian culture, I guess.
Descent?
Yeah, descent. He was born there and came to Australia, not as an immigrant, but he came to Australia to live for a better life, as they all do. But I think Mauritius is pretty cool. Tropical islands, the beaches and stuff.
Yeah.
So one thing as I've got older is I've tried to, whether I agree with the actual people, I suppose, with how some certain people are, or how the culture is to a certain extent, I've tried to embrace who I am a bit more.
Yeah.
Because it's part of me, it's my blood, I know who I am, so I've tried to see embrace my culture a bit more. So I got an outline of Mauritius.
Yep.
To establish that I'm obviously half Mauritian, and my birth mother is Indigenous. So Australian Indigenous, I should add, not Red Indian or something like that. So that's something I learnt later on in life, I guess.
Yeah.
I wasn't raised Indigenous. I was raised as I'm not going to say Indigenous aren't normal, but I was just raised in a normal household, Australian household.
Yeah.
So I wasn't raised with my culture. I wasn't really taught about it because it's quite classic as you go through primary school and high school. They sort of bypass the Indigenous side of things, which I've sort of discovered as I've got older and done my own independent research.
Yeah.
They don't like to promote that sort of stuff too much. Maybe now because with the internet and everything, it's a bit hard to avoid certain topics. But back when we were sort of in school, it was all about Captain James Cook and all that sort of.
Yeah, I can remember in like primary school, we had those. I think they were called reconciliation weeks.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Yeah.
But I suppose
I can honestly just say that a lot more effort was put into the convict side of things. Than there was to the native people that were on this land first.
Yeah, so
and that's just a fact. Yeah. That's not me trying to cause controversy. That's just a fact.
I definitely agree with you. It was obviously part of the history of the Australian native people were discussed in schools, but it was more, again, as you said, it was more emphasized on the I suppose Western part of it.
Yeah. So as I've sort of gotten older and I've got more intrigued, because obviously I don't have communication or anything with my birth mum. I probably should state that. So I can't just go and ask her.
Yeah.
So probably from more knowing later on in life that I've got Indigenous blood in me. When I first found out, I have to be honest, I sort of didn't share it because it's just, again, it might be the Australian culture, but it's sort of just felt a bit not ashamed, but maybe a bit embarrassed that maybe I shouldn't share it. But as I got older and I've just done my own research, I just thought I've got nothing to hide. It's in me. It's a part of me. So I've got the Mauritian outline, and then just a simple Indigenous insert, which is the middle of the flag, just to say half.
Yeah, that's actually really cool how they've done that.
Yeah, so they've done really good line work. So yeah.
So going back to your particular reservations about getting tattoos, how do you reckon it was in terms of the pain from what you were initially thought of and what it actually was?
Yeah, so as I sort of said before, I was quite scared, and that's always what's sort of made me hold off and get in it. I can't talk for shading because I haven't been shaded.
Yeah.
But I'd imagine that the shading is just more painful than what I've got with the line work.
Yeah.
But we've got mates that's got tattoos, and we've always asked them, and everyone sort of said, "Oh, it's a bit hard to explain. But as soon as they started doing my line work, I actually found it I actually realised that it is painful, it is uncomfortable, but like everyone says, it's bearable.
Yeah.
Again, that's subjective to where you get it,
Yeah.
and if
Yeah,
you get solid
exactly.
work, shading, all that sort of stuff.
It's
But
different.
for my first time, I got to say they were really accommodating. They sort of looked after me.
Yeah.
And then once it went in, the needle went in, and I knew what it felt like. They just went to work, and I sort of just chatted away and drank a bowl of Coke. So, so what I feel, what I'll explain to you guys what I think it feels like.
Yeah.
Just imagine a needle going in, and then when the needle goes in, dragging the needle across the skin. I'm not saying that to scare people. Yeah, so I'm pretty much, yeah, that's pretty much how it feels.
Yeah.
Yeah, so on that note, I think
Yeah.
we've been chatting for a while now.
Yeah. So yeah, obviously we'll let you guys know when our next one's going to be done. And yeah, let us know what you think of what we've already done.
Yeah,
Um,
throw us some support, I guess.
Yeah.
Show some love.
And Kwanda, yeah,
Taekwondo.
the Kwanda.
Taekwondo.
Yeah. So
Obviously, it's our first one, so
Yeah.
you should give us some feedback, whatever. But plan on getting maybe a couple out during the week,
Yep.
each week or something, and all different content. So
Yeah.
Give us a chance, listen to a few.
All right.
Hopefully, we can connect with a few people. I reckon.
Yeah.
Anyway, on that note,
Cool.
catch you later.